Hello everyone, welcome to our team call tonight, the 7th of October. We're really excited to, look, I've got a lead all over me, leave the computer. We're really excited to
share about convention.
Thank you, that's what we're excited to do.
And leadership and Nathan's big trip to South Africa.
Yep, and we've got a few announcements. So we just wanted to plug the Northampton Business Day again on the 1st of October. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The Northampton Customer Day is on the 2nd of October. So the Business Day is for anybody that's doing the business or just starting to do the business. There'll be stuff for everyone there. We'll tailor it to everyone.
Yeah, we're just finalising the agenda actually. So we'll post the agenda. Well, definitely the topics that will be kind of addressed and stuff, so you can have a look what's going to be spoken about on the day. But definitely please take our advice, come, do everything you can to come, get anyone who's interested in building, well, not interested in building, but people who have started to build to come. It's more for people that have already started to build. Those interested to do the business should come for the customer day. That often converts people, so if they're kind of on the edge, and definitely get them to come to the customer day. But both days, honestly, you will not regret it. It was going to be very good. We put a lot of work into it with other diamond leaders, so it's going to be very good. So come.
You won't regret it.
Can't emphasise it enough.
No one that ever has been to a Northampton Day event has regretted it.
No.
Ever. Okay.
Said no one to us.
That's a fact.
To our faces.
Anyway. No, they've never said it to our faces. Definitely not. Diamond Club is starting in February. I'm going to give you a bit more information on Diamond Club in a second. Now, Elise, who is all of our upline, and Triple Diamond, which is the biggest rank ever achieved in doTERRA so far, has put out these daily mentor calls. Now, they're recorded. There's 50 of them. And we haven't actually watched them yet. We're going to, because I've literally just, people have been raving about them over the weekend at Leadership and saying how good they are. And so we wanted to tell you all about them. I'll post later the link for them, and you can just subscribe to the page and then watch them at your leisure. But there's 50 of them, and I don't think they're longer than 5 minutes each or 10 minutes each. So they take you through all the basics. It's really good, from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
This month's offer, oh, that's a rubbish picture. Who got that up? Wasn't like that before. So this is the Daily Habits Kit. It goes on sale tomorrow at 20% off. Okay, so you can see what it has in it. It's obviously creating habits. But it's 20% off starting tomorrow, and it's for everybody. Everybody can get 20% off. However, if you are going to a tour event, anytime in the next 2 months, October and November, you can get 20% off the Daily Habits, but you'll also receive a Copaiba. Now, the only way you'll receive the Copaiba is if you buy the Daily Habits Kit on the day you attend the event. You can't buy it now or before. You have to buy it on the day and then show Lisa Rooney evidence that you bought it, and you'll be given a Copaiba. I hope that makes sense.
So make sure you have your membership details with you if you don't have them already programmed in or
you need to do it on the day.
Otherwise you'll miss out.
Can't be the day after, can't be the day before or any time before. It literally has to be on the day. So if you want to get a kit and you go into a tour, buy it on the day you go to the tour. Okay? And it's available on LRP as well. Okay? So it's good. It's available for new customers as well. It's available as an enrollment kit as well. So new customers can go to the tour event, buy the Daily Habits Kit, and they'll receive a Copaiba at the tour event as well, and they can enroll. Okay? So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Product of the month is Star Anise. We don't have time tonight to go into what Star Anise is, but you can have a look at all of that information online. Roman Chamomile, usually, because there isn't a 200 PV offer this month, there is 20% off Roman Chamomile, and Chamomile is a great oil.
Beautiful oil.
Worth getting, because they normally do 10% off an oil, and this is 20% off, and it's normally quite an expensive oil. Okay. The top enrollers this month. So congratulations to Emily. It's the first time she's ever been on there. Might have been the second or third time. So congrats, Emily. Congrats to Debbie. Congrats to Michael. Congrats to Nikki. And congrats to Scylla. Well done, guys, for being on our top enrollers list.
Well done.
And we have a few elites. So congratulations to Fiona, to Nicola, to Micro, to Jacqueline, to Antoinette, and to David for hitting elite last month. Well done, guys.
Really well done. Amazing.
And then our big rank for this month, congratulations to Michael, all the way in Germany for hitting silver. Well done, Michael. Congratulations, buddy.
Huge congrats, Michael.
So, doTERRA is pretty much there in South Africa. So for all of you South Africans on, give us a wave. Daniel and I and Michelle Marshall got to go to South Africa and meet up with some of our fantastic team. We met up with Avril, we met up with Tanya, we met up with Deline, with Bianca, with Kim, and there are so many other people. I've got like 20 other names I want to list, but we don't have time. But congratulate. It was lovely to meet you all. Not congratulations, but it was lovely to meet you all. And South Africa is on fire. So this is just a great picture of myself. So that's why I put it on there.
So this is the business highlight of the week. Nathan's doing it, in case you haven't guessed.
It was great. We were introducing people. Had a nice dinner. That was lovely. But this is the thing I wanted to show you. In South Africa, they put barbecues in their house and they call it a braai. I think this is the greatest thing ever invented, and I really want one. So I just thought you guys should know that they do barbecues in their houses in South Africa. A couple of classes, as Avril teaching a class. Michelle enrolling everyone in South Africa. Well done, Michelle. And me trying to enroll the tribes people. There's Evelyn, one of the builders in South Africa. Just a couple of pictures. Daniel lost his phone. He got mugged.
Very careless.
Daniel, you shouldn't lose your phone in South Africa. I had to find it for him and got it back for him. You're lucky, mate. So we did 5 locations, 8 boot camps, 12 intro classes, 12 business intros, 150 came to boot camps and 250 came to intro classes. So it was a wonderful time in South Africa, and I think a lot of the South African team are on tonight. It was wonderful to meet all of you, and kind of wait for it to open in the next couple of days. At leadership, so we're moving on to leadership quite quickly. At leadership, Kirk told us that they foresee the revenue, and this comes from Verified Markets, not from doTERRA, the essential oil market being you can't really see the slides too well, but in 2024 being worth 25 billion. Okay, right now it's at around 6 billion. It's going to grow to 25 billion. A lot of it thanks to doTERRA, and there was a slide on that, but I won't go into that as to why the doTERRA effect. But they told us that there's only 3 out of the 50 main companies that they know of that have consistently pure oils. The other 2 companies are pretty small, and they don't have the same range of oils. But it's good to know that there are another 2 companies doing it properly as well. There are some other large reputable companies out there that have 50 to 100% adulterated oils. If you can think of another essential oil company, then that's the one you're thinking of. Okay, why do companies adulterate their oils? They're clueless. They don't know that they're adulterated because they buy them through brokers. They cannot match doTERRA's sourcing network at all. It's far cheaper for companies to adulterate them. And they are not in it for the essential oils. They're in it for the money, or they're doing all of them. Okay, that's why companies adulterate. So they just showed us a little diagram. Kirk showed us what, a birch oil, for instance. So a birch oil costs $60 per unit, okay, if it's pure. Birch oil, sorry, I can't see. birch oil from natural ingredients, so that might be other essential oils, but have the same kind of chemotypes, they can actually do it cheaper than birch oil and create something that mimics a birch oil from other essential oils, but it's from natural products, not from chemicals. That's 20 to 25 per unit. Or a synthetic birch oil, they can do it for 2 to 3 per unit. So it just shows you why companies might adulterate. Okay. Now this is just showing some of the co-impact sourcing, how many lives have been affected, livelihoods have been affected, which was, you know, a lot of us are in it for this. I like this sourcing map. Okay, so the doTERRA sourcing map for Europe shows us some of where all of our stuff's coming from. doTERRA have to improve by 2%, so they've got a lot of work to do. No, what's really cool about this slide is that it's come up from, I think it was 96% to 98%. And why do we want doTERRA to have their oils exclusive? The number one reason is because we don't want them going through brokers, okay, which they don't. Okay, so it shows you that doTERRA are getting it straight from the farmers, okay? And also it shows you that other competitors are not and cannot get the same oils that doTERRA have. They might be able to get peppermint, but they're not getting it from the same farmers, the same kind of oils, okay? So there was a company called Revive that was saying in America that they were saying that they were getting the same oils where doTERRA got them from. And doTERRA said, no, you're not, because you can't possibly. And so then the company exec admitted it when he was told to by court, admitted that they don't get the same oils from the same place, and actually they get them from brokers. So they're actually adulterated as well. So it's quite shocking findings for that company. And their reasons for it, they said, well, we are just a small outfit. We thought we'd get to 100 million and doTERRA wouldn't even notice. That's why they said that anyway. So Diamond Club. So they told us a lot about Diamond Club and how good it is, okay? So what they told us was that on average, Diamond Club graduates over the next 2 years enrolled 102 new people on their teams. So out of the 350 participants, over 230 advanced at least one rank. What they told us was it's the number one reason why people rank, okay, when they put it all together. So what they've done is they've created, I think we might have put it on Facebook, but there's a video showing the portal. If it hasn't, we'll put one up there. There's a video showing the new Diamond Club gateway. So if you've ever done Diamond Club before, you know that putting in your expenses and all that is a nightmare, okay? The Diamond Club portal now looks amazing. I want to do it just to put my numbers into the Diamond Club portal. It looks amazing and it tracks it, everything, makes it so much easier. So if you're thinking of Diamond Club, or if you don't have a clue what Diamond Club is, don't worry. We're going to be doing a Diamond Club specific call so you can learn about it and all of that, okay? But talk to you upline about that if you want to know any more before then. A couple of things that they said about Diamond Club, that Diamond Club leads to growth and retention. But of all the European Diamond Clubs, 7 out of the 10 participated in the Diamond Club program. Why did they? I must have missed a slide. I can't remember why they said that. There's a reason. I'll find the slide and tell you. Now, what they said was that if you're platinum or above, ideally you would commit to being a sponsor of 3 to 5 people. If you're diamond and above, you're committing to about 6 to 8. If you're blue diamond and above, you commit to 9 or 12. And if you're presidential, you're committing to about 13 plus. So this is trying to get, when we say a sponsor is somebody that agrees to sponsor somebody doing Diamond Club. That makes sense. So if you want to know about how to be a sponsor or anything like that, then we'll do a Diamond Club specific call on that. If you want to sign up already, this is the European Diamond Club lady. And that's her email address. So you can email her if you want to know more details sooner than we give it to you. There was also a new website coming out in 2020. This looks amazing. And I did put a video on Facebook about this, and check that out because it is so exciting. I think just from having the new website, our enrollment, people are going to buy it. It will probably increase by about 25%. You know, there is a really cool like graph at the top that shows you your 3 PV away from getting your product of the month. It makes you want to purchase it. It's really, really cool. So that will be coming very soon. So get excited about that. So early 2020 is when they promised it to us. They reminded us, so Dr. Riggs, Brannick Riggs, reminded us of where we can get scientific research from PubMed on here. And if you want doTERRA specific research, then go to Aromatic Science. It's all about the essential oils. There's also a care home that's using and doing research in the United Kingdom, in Bedford, on the essential oils. So we'll hear more about that hopefully soon, which is very cool. The incentive trip this year is in Montenegro and Albania. And you'll be looking at the helichrysum fields, or what do they call helichrysum? It's flowers, isn't it?
Oh yeah, little white flowers.
Little white flowers. And I've done that slide twice. So this is what they showed us where the growth is today in Europe and versus the US growth. So this is where they think that we are right now and what's about to happen in Europe. So it's about to take off. Okay, even though it has been steadily growing, it looks like there's way more growth to happen. Okay, which is what we know anyway. And this is Justin Harrison talking about the daily mentor calls. So check that out. I'll post them where you can get them on Facebook later as well. And there are 2 sourcing trips that you can purchase if you want to. So if you that's the QR code to check them out, or you can go to Europe Sourcing 2020. So you can buy a ticket to go to Nepal or Kenya. Nepal is end of December 2020. And Kenya, I think, is March 2020. So have a look at that if you want to go. What happens is that if you want to go, you have to email, and then it's a lottery. So if you get chosen, you can then purchase a ticket to go to it. All right. That's it on that. So now we just need to find...
Good summary, baby.
Thank you. So while I'm looking for the other PowerPoint that Rebecca put up, I just wanted to tell you the truth about I actually got mugged and lost Daniel's phone. He didn't lose it. I was walking around a corner in Johannesburg. Someone said that it wasn't a good idea to walk around in Johannesburg. And I did it anyway. And someone came and stole the phone off of my hand, and I chased them, and as I was chasing them, they were waiting for a car with the door open, and he jumped in. All I had in my hand was this bottle of orange juice, so I chucked it as hard as I could at him, and it hit the window of the car, and because the door was open, it went into the car. So I'm really hoping it sprayed all over them and got those thieves. But then I told Daniel that I'd lost his phone and it was driving down the road, which he took it really, really well. He didn't swear or anything like that because he doesn't swear. But what are you doing right now?
Carry on getting the video.
So confused. And then when I went back to the security guard, he handed me the phone. I thought he was joking, but he handed me Daniel's phone in my hand. I don't know how I did it. It was like magic. But he told me afterwards that the guy had dropped it on the way as I was chasing him, and I obviously hadn't noticed. So I chased him to get it, but the phone was on the floor. So it was all good. So not only did we keep the phone, we get mugged, but the thieves got covered in orange juice, which made me really happy.
And I said I would stay on your front line instead of moving to another team because we got the phone back.
And so that was a blessing.
It was great, or a curse. We'll find out. But yeah, it's amazing.
So I was trying to get rid of you off our front line.
I know Michelle will have it. It's fine.
So yes, that was
But
a good story.
you are very grateful, and we must say that did not put a down on our trip to South Africa. It was wonderful, and it was a great, fun story for what was an amazing time we had meeting some incredible people, right?
Exactly. South Africa is very safe. That's the only thing that happened. I got mugged. That was it.
Okay.
Okay, over to Rebecca.
Where's the PowerPoint?
I don't know where the PowerPoint is. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it.
Yeah, that is, I think. Convention PowerPoint.
Does that say convention PowerPoint?
Yeah. Oh no, it's a live stream.
I don't think it did.
Okay. Cool. So we had some people on our team go to convention this year, and we've got them sharing in a second as well. So I've got Natalie doing Thursday for us. Thank you, Natalie. And Melanie doing Friday. So we're just going to keep it brief and just give you a summary of each day. So I've been watching it online because unfortunately I couldn't go this year, which I was very upset about. But I've been watching it online, and actually it's brilliant because you can kind of stop and pause it and digest it a bit more and take good notes. So I've been loving it. So I really do recommend watching it online. You've still got to the 30th of October to do it. So you can go and purchase it. It's £60, I think, for the whole package. So way cheaper than actually flying to America. And you really do get a feel of the whole...
It's not that much cheaper than flying though, is it?
Quite a lot.
Oh,
cheaper, yeah.
Okay.
So you get a picture of like the whole of, the doTERRA corporate. It's really good. Okay, what are you doing?
I was just having a look at some of their faces.
Okay. So I'm going to go through this quickly. So I just did some snapshots. So there they are. There's some of there's the executives there. That was beginning. So just some cool facts since we last met. So this many new customers. I won't go through all the numbers. You can look at this. And the worldwide customers now in doTERRA. It's huge. This is the company we're part of. Social media has just gone crazy. So it's definitely a good thing to be part of if you can. That many bottles sold, social media interactions, healing hand service projects, which is wonderful. 34,142 different farms.
Wow, is that many farms?
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it? It's crazy. And a lot of them will be exclusive to doTERRA. So, they're loyal to doTERRA, basically.
Or 98%.
98%. You just told us. Exactly. Yeah. So that is a huge number. And then lots of harvesters. Huge amount of jobs that doTERRA provides through co-impact sourcing. So it just shows, the difference they're making to people's lives on top of the oils. It's just incredible. And that's what they're doing. They're pursuing the purest essential oils the earth has to offer. That is still their goal. That hasn't changed. And that won't change. And that's so nice to hear the leaders say that. So David Sterling, our founding executive, there he is. Some of the highlights that he told us, again, this convention was bigger than ever. It's getting bigger each year. So, obviously it was full capacity out in America, so 30,000+ people go to the live event. And this amount of people all across the world are watching it online as well. And then, of course, it doesn't take into account those that are going to watch it afterwards. There's doTERRA headquarters. So that's the total that wellness advocates and customers is 5 million, which is huge, but there's still so much potential for growth, especially in Europe, as Nathan was saying earlier, but all over the world, It
says 5 million, does it?
Yeah, that's how many customers there are.
It's interesting because it's 8 million. No, the number's up to 8 million, isn't it? If you sign up now, it's 8 million. Anyway, I don't know why that doesn't compute.
So the theme of the convention this year is together, which is nice. And doTERRA talked a bit about that, or David did talk a bit about that. So Nathan's already kind of gone through this. So the essential oil market size is growing and expected to grow hugely over the next few years. And that is, as Nathan said, a lot to do with doTERRA. I'm going to touch on why. But David said, you know, this was started by paying a steep price. You know, doTERRA didn't just become a successful company overnight, and, you know, we don't see all the challenges that they go through. But David said, you know, there are lots of times of challenges where their integrity could have been compromised. Perhaps they could have dropped their standards to get the oils quicker. You know, they've had to be very patient and pay as well, cost-wise, not just time-wise, to get the best quality oils, to really search the world for them. Okay. So I'm just going to read my notes as well to get the highlights. He said that, you know, he was asked, so how is doTERRA built so quickly? You know, he often gets this question. And he said that, you know, it's not just them, and this is where the together kind of theme came from, is he's always tells people that, you know, it's obviously they've got a good solid core at the center, but what they've managed to reproduce, which is incredible, is they've kind of duplicated the integrity of the company amongst the wellness advocates. And that is why it's been growing so quickly, is because people have been kind of have bought in, if you like, to the mission of doTERRA and come in alignment with doTERRA. And that's what he was saying is one of the big reasons the growth has been so incredible. He also said the bottom line is doTERRA is a gift. You know, it really is a gift. It's called, it means gift of the air, but doTERRA is a gift. And so sharing it is such a lovely thing because we're sharing something so great with people. So he was emphasizing that as well. Okay. So he also said, you know, with regards to this paying a steep price, that many other companies have tried to follow what doTERRA have done, but they haven't been able to do it because they haven't been willing to pay the price. You know, they've been more focused on profit, wanting quicker results, if you like, and so they haven't been able to. And now it really is too late for a company to catch up with doTERRA. And we're going to go into a bit more in a second about why now doTERRA have completely gone out of the competition of essential oil companies now. They're way and beyond that. So Germany, we just saw here, a new office in Germany, which I think you all know about. So that was announced at convention, which is exciting and showing the growth of Europe. And these were the new markets being opened. So take note of this. If you know, especially if you're on social media or going on holiday to any of these places, then you might want to be checking out some of the doTERRA potentials there.
Oh, South Africa's open.
So,
that's interesting.
They were saying South Africa's opening. Oh. So as Nate just said, so literally in the next couple of days. That's exciting. But Colombia's just opened and the Philippines have just opened. And just so you know, Brazil hasn't been opened that long. So it's after 1 year, in fact, of being opened, it's now got 3 times the office space in Brazil. So he was just kind of demonstrating that, you know, Brazil's been opened, and in the first year, there's often a lot of growth in the country. So that's something to take note of as well, if you're ambitious.
What's cool, I just also wanted to mention, I didn't mention earlier, was that going to South Africa and meeting some of our leaders out there and how strong they are and what they've done in a market that has not been opened is incredible.
It is incredible.
And when it turns and after South Africa is going to be opened, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen then with like what they've all achieved. And so it's just a lesson for all of us to have a look at and go, look, they've achieved so much and they're signing people up and having to send oils from England at 40% higher prices. You know, we can learn from that and go, right, this is very, very inspiring. So, I mean, absolutely. If you're on the call, and I can see a couple of you on the call that are from South Africa, you were inspiring, guys. It was very, very inspiring. So thank you for that. To show what you can do in a new market, but what we should be able to do because we have all those resources in the UK and in Europe.
Exactly. It just goes into what we've discussed many times, isn't it? The blocks we have in our head, they really are in our head. You know, there's so many reasons why we could not succeed, but they're all in our head. It's not real, and that just kind of goes to show us.
Well, there's a lady called Deline in Port Elizabeth who will turn silver immediately that South Africa opens. I mean, that's amazing. Think about that. Well done, Deline.
That's amazing. That's incredible. So he also talked about the new flagship clinics that, this is the flagship clinic, but the new kind of Prime Meridian clinics. So these integrative medicinal clinics that are going to be opening, and some have already opened. There's already 2 in America with plans to do many more. And this is exciting. This is what doTERRA is now focusing on, is going into the medicinal quality and the medicinal market. So they are, he said, that David Stone said that still, they're one of their number 1 goals is now to reduce people's dependence on prescriptive drugs. And it wants to really be preventative medicine to stop people from getting sick and having to use prescriptive drugs if possible. So this is very exciting, and this clinic is at the moment just being used amongst the doTERRA employees. But other companies nearby are wanting to send their employees there. So it's already, the word's already getting out. And this, I believe, will, like, as soon as, you get more validation, which is happening all the time with the science in doTERRA, this is going to spread. And this is what is so exciting, is where doTERRA is now really coming out of the essential oil market and is now in the medicinal market, which is just very, very exciting.
Healthcare.
Exactly. It's now into healthcare. So here's the healthcare initiatives. So they're working more on their relationships with universities, with clinics, research, all this kind of stuff. They're putting so much money now into all the clinical research, like real proper clinical trials that are being recognized by doctors and hospitals as well. So that's really exciting. And there was a lot of science.
They talked a little bit about our leadership, that a lot of phase 1 trials have been completely missed. There's pretty much no phase 1 trials on essential oils. So doTERRA are going to start, they are covering those phase 1 trials.
Amazing. So doTERRA have not forgotten where they've come from. So their growth incredible. The company's just huge now, and they're doing all these clinical trials, and they are the leading company in essential oils, and then they know all this. But it was quite amazing, is they're still very humble about it. And David Sterling was saying they'll never ever forget where they came from and what their core focus has always been, and that is, of course, essential oil education. So that is where we come in. That's the kind of privilege, the honour that we have, is to be able to share these oils with the world. And Rob Young later says that it's our responsibility to become as educated as we can in these essential oils, so we can really be true and powerful advocates to share this with the world as well. So he went on to say, healthcare is broken. It really is, and this is what they're trying to address, and this is what doTERRA gets to address. The NHS in England, and I'm sure it's happening in all places in the world, is under a lot of pressure, and it is breaking down, but we have a solution, and this is incredible when it comes to health. It's everything for people, and this is what doTERRA has to offer.
And that's in England. England's actually pretty good at healthcare.
Yeah.
All over the world, healthcare is not great in a lot of places.
Yeah, exactly. So there's these Prime Meridian centres being set up. These are the partners that doTERRA are working with, and there's many more. These are just some of the big names. So it's just nice for us to know who their partners are. And he was saying, let's stop and just think who we are. Who are we, and what is our mission? So doTERRA's always kind of just reevaluating, just centering themselves and just reminding themselves what their mission is. And this is where hopefully we can play the video, because we won't be able to post it because it's part of the doTERRA conference. Let's see, I've got it up.
Okay, let's see if it works.
It's a 2-minute video.
Fingers crossed.
Down here. So it might not work. Sorry if it doesn't. So it's at 33 and 12 on there. It's on there.
Yeah.
not a good start.
Mm.
I was timed out. It's because I prepared it earlier, didn't I?
Oh, okay. Do you want to leave it or log back in, or?
Oh, you don't need to take it off. Just come out and press play again.
Sorry. This is technical difficulties.
Okay, I shall carry on talking. So basically, the video is just, hopefully we'll get it for you. Just gone to live stream, yeah. Convention live stream. Just Google it.
Okay.
And then there's the Wednesday AM session.
Okay.
Yeah, there. So basically, David Stone was talking about how, they wanted to come up with their mission again and just reevaluate their mission. And they came up with pursue what's pure. So that is what doTERRA stands for in every aspect, is pursuing what's pure, so pure, not poor, pure. So products, as well as sharing the oils with integrity. So it goes further than just the products as well. And the video kind of shows that and just reminds us of that, which is, I think, quite inspiring. You might have it. Let's have a look. 33 and 12 seconds you want. Let's see if you can see it.
Can you all see it?
33 and 12. Let me do it.
Okay.
And because it's good.
Let's just see where they.
Is it honesty? Fairness?
It's not.
Good care.
That effectively articulates the mission of doTERRA, captures this well.
Okay, let's see if people can see it. Can you see it, guys?
What is purity?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
okay,
can.
it's working. Thanks, Natalie.
Is it the absence of contaminants? Something pristine, unadulterated? Or is it the way we treat others, the conditions on which we give? Is purity a love? The kind felt for a distant community as if it were a close-knit family? Or is it the will to do good for no other reason than because it's good? Is it honesty, fairness, good character? One thing's for sure, purity is not easy. The pursuit of purity requires more than just conviction. It means rejecting even the thought of cutting a corner. It means doing what's right, even when what's right is what's seemingly insurmountable. We are more than just an essential oils company. We are in the business of empowerment. Everything we do is designed to open opportunity. Whether it's a farmer inspired, a mother assured, an athlete emboldened, or an entrepreneur on fire. This is our mission, to empower through purity. It's why we don't just buy farms, we build farmers. It's why we don't just see another's potential, we make sure they see it themselves. It's why we turn wellness advocates into advocates of change, through our product as well as our purpose. It's why everything we do is designed to empower others. And best of all, we're not alone. So let's pursue together. Let's pursue healthier families and happier communities, kinder interactions and stronger connections. Let's pursue understanding and common ground, humility, empathy, and charity. Let's pursue being the difference that makes all the difference. Let's pursue a smile on the face of everyone we meet and a positive impact left behind everywhere we go. Because when the pure gifts of the earth are paired with the pure love of each other, there is no telling what we can achieve. doTERRA, pursue what's pure.
Woo! Quite nice to feel some of the atmosphere of convention.
You like that?
Yes, we did, David. Yeah, so that is what doTERRA's mission is. It's what it's always been, and that's what it continues to be, and that's what we're part of, and that's what I certainly signed up to, and I think a lot of us signed up to that vision, didn't we? So that's lovely. Okay, back to PowerPoint, and I'll just quickly finish and pass over to Natalie. Thanks, Ray. Okay, so that's doTERRA's mission, pursue what's pure. That's their new kind of slogan, if you like. So they do this by empowering farmers, empowering our partners. We get to empower each other. It's a constant pursuit. So they're always trying to be better. So they're not perfect, but they are definitely trying to be better. And that's the same as us, isn't it? So we can really align with that.
It's also, especially as they grow, then as the bigger they grow, the more they're looking for, they're always going to strive to get better and better.
Definitely. And it's quite amazing how they've achieved that with such a big, company. So Emily, lovely Emily then spoke. She spoke about the products. You've probably all seen them online, so I'm not going to go into these at all really today. And we will have to wait for these products, which is why I'm not going to go into them tons today as well. We'll go into them one by one as they kind of get released. But these were the products, the black spruce, but we can get that in balance and forgive at the moment. She spoke about that. We've got a new child's blend. Rose, very excited about that one. It is expensive, and you probably know why, but at least we can get it. We haven't been able to get hold of this unless you win the competition, and of course on the Rose Touch. Celery seed, turmeric capsules, and I will be doing a little kind of essential oil training on turmeric again, just to recap, but not tonight. And then the adaptive, which seems very exciting, that's to help with stress and anxiety, so that's mental health. I'm really excited about that one coming out. And then citronella, you'll be excited about that one, your mosquito bites.
Actually, would love that, yeah.
And then lemon eucalyptus as well. And I was going to tell you a really quick Healing Hands thing about that. This is a source from Kenya, where 70% live below the poverty line of $2 a day. And there are many people, many farmers just trying to get by, and they don't actually legally live on land. They've just found some land that's not theirs, and they're just farming their guts out really just to try and make ends meet, with fear of being kicked off at any moment. So just imagine that, living, with your family, your children, in fear of being kicked off at any moment. So doTERRA have come along, and they're growing a couple of oils there, and one of these is lemon eucalyptus. And again, what they're doing is paying them a very fair price. But what they've done is they've purchased a massive kind of plot of land. And what these farmers then get to do is, as they work for doTERRA are paying them a fair price and enough to live on. And then they also pay them extra money, that then the rest of their money, their wages, doTERRA putting into a savings account for them. So it said over 3 years, so in 3 years' time, these farmers will have enough money to then purchase their own land. So they'll be completely independent, which is, I think, incredible.
That's amazing. So they purchase it off doTERRA?
Yeah, they can purchase it off doTERRA, yeah. So basically doTERRA are becoming like a saving account for them. So they'll give them the land after 3 years. They'll give them their portion of land that they've
and they just buy it back off doTERRA. That's really cool.
Which is amazing. So, these are things, there's so many Healing Hands things I'm not going to go into tonight, but this is, again, the company that we get to partner with, which is just wonderful. Before doTERRA came along, he was just mentioning the essential oil community was jaded because so many farmers were exploited, and they come across this time and time again. Okay, and this is just lovely. This is how doTERRA see it. We have a stewardship to care for those who care for the plants, which is wonderful. And I just love that. About empowerment. Okay, and then Rob Young just finished, and this is the next bit of highlight. He was just reminding us of the mission, why they do what they do and what they're doing. And this is the kind of the general company mission then, is to do all these things. So to find the best, to qualify them, and to share, to educate. And now they're focusing a lot on the validation, as we've kind of spoken about. So validating these products so we can share even more confidence into professionals as well. He said that, their principles will never, ever change, but sometimes their practices will. So they will be getting better and better. So they're kind of committing to that as well. And then he turned it onto us, and I'm turning on to us and you guys. what is your mission? doTERRA are really constantly reevaluating their mission, which is why they're successful, and they're not budging from their integrity. So he suggested, and I suggest the same, is to kind of rethink your mission. What are you doing in doTERRA? Why are you doing doTERRA? And really get that passion again. If it starts to waver a bit, or just kind of reevaluate it and just make sure you're still in line with your mission and you haven't got lost along the way, because that's where we get to share with real power and integrity and really get to change lives. So that's my part over. I'm going to hand over to Natalie now to share about Thursday. So Natalie, I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you, Natalie, so much for coming on.
Oh, pleasure. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Okay, amazing. So I don't have beautiful PowerPoint slides like you, but I have lots of information on each person. So is it okay if I just chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, amazing. So on Thursday, there were 10 speakers. There are quite a lot of speakers. And I've kind of done a little summary of each one so that people can just know a little bit about it. So the first couple were the big ones. So Mark Wolfert, who's, for anyone who doesn't know, he's one of the 7 doTERRA executives. He kind of oversees the legal department, government relations, that sort of things. He re-emphasized that the kind of strapline of doTERRA is pursue what's pure. And he said, we pursue it in our products, our business practices, and intentions, which means we're pursuing purity for our love of humanity. And he said, we expand and magnify to empower others. And then he just basically talked about healing hands. So he said that through people, wellness advocates who have been raising funds for their own projects, plus what doTERRA has matched, they've raised, you can apply for up to £500,000 per project, which is quite amazing. So if anybody's got a project on their heart, you can fundraise and up to 500,000 and have that matched. And then he kind of talked about how we did a Healing Hands service project when we were actually at convention. And some people decided that they wanted to design a baby grow, and then other people created a baby blanket. So I did the baby blanket. I went into the project. And it was just lovely. You just kind of basically embellished a blanket. And then when I took it to hand it in, they said, okay, now you need to go pack it. And I was like, okay. So you basically got a couple of people's baby grows, you've got the blanket, you've got a hat, you've got a couple of pairs of socks, a Serenity bath bar and lavender, and you put it all in a backpack, and then it went straight off. And so they did about 1,200 of those whilst we were there, and that's going to birthing centres in Nepal, Guatemala, Haiti and Kenya. So that was kind of cool. And he said this all ties into the fact that doTERRA International and Healing Hands have been invited by the United Nations Civil Society Conference that was in Salt Lake City. They were invited to be part of the conversation around prevention, rescue and healing of human trafficking and ethical supply chains. And they just said it's just such an honour to be part of that global conversation where they're actually recognised as a company for their best practices. So then he kind of segued into like Days for Girls. So that is a project which educates and trains girls as well as providing hygiene kits for them. And he said, it's just staggering to consider that over 1.5 million women and girls have been supported by this project in 141 countries. And recently they've had a $250,000 donation that was anonymous for Days for Girls, and that's going to support 25,000 girls in Kenya. So it was quite a big thing. And then he talked about trafficking. That's the other kind of big thing that doTERRA supports. So he said with Operation Underground Railroad, there have been 671 rescue operations in 23 states with 1,500 arrests and have rescued over 2,700 individuals. So they've done loads to partner with these charities. Other trafficking charities are Engage Now Africa, where not only did they kind of arrest traffickers, but they also uncovered large networks of trafficking that have now been uncovered. And he just said, look, make no mistake about it, doTERRA is committed to continuing to fight with you against human trafficking. And then he also talked about the people, the wellness advocates who have raised money that have been matched by doTERRA has been up to, he's just almost £1 million in that year, in that year. So then he talked about the kindness campaign, how they did 15 days of kindness, and that led into the keynote speaker. So he was the second speaker of the day, and that's Leon, and I need to say his name right, Logothetis. He is a British guy, and he describes himself as a global adventurer and a motivational speaker. And he is the author of The Kindness Diaries, which is a documentary you can go and watch on Netflix. And he tells a story about how he used to be a broker in central London, and he just felt like he was doing the rat race, he was stuck, and he just felt like his life was meaningless. And so he decided to globally go around the world living off the kindness of strangers. And he's this loaded guy, but he's living off the kindness of strangers. And the Netflix kind of documentary talks about how he actually blesses them back financially at the end. But it's a really interesting thing. And the whole point he talks about kindness is helping someone feel less alone. It's treating others with respect. It's treating others with value. And it's making people feel like they matter. And he basically said, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to make you feel like kindness is real. And so one of his quotes is, kindness is free. It doesn't matter what money you have or how cool you think you are or not, it's free. How we show up in the world matters. Everyone in this room matters. If that's true, which it is, the person sitting next to you, behind you, and the person who cut you off on the freeway, they matter too. And how you show each other that you matter is by being kind. That's all you have to do, live from your heart. True wealth is not in your wallet, it's in your heart. So I thought it was that was kind of that was the motivational speaker. That's kind of what he was talking about, the kind of the kindness aspect, which you can just see just so weaves throughout the company anyway. Then the third speaker was Dr. Russell Osguthorpe. He is the Chief Medical Officer who has succeeded Dr. Hill. So Dr. Hill's still a founder, he's still the chairman of the Scientific Advisory Committee, and he still chairs the Medical Executive Committee. But Dr. Osguthorpe has taken over his role as Chief Medical Officer. And he said, look, my role is really to steer forward the medical healthcare initiatives, so Prime Meridian, and to solve healthcare problems. So he saw that as two things. One is research. He said, I'm here to scientifically characterize what you already know about essential oils. Meaning I'm here to provide the research about what you anecdotally know from your own experiences. And so he said that research will take place in 4 phases with a research team of physicians, pharmacists, chemists, and molecular biologists. So that's really cool. And the next bit is relationships. He said science is collaborative. And so some of the things that Becky's just shown us about partnering with Huntsman Cancer Institute, St. Elizabeth's Healthcare, which is apparently a system like a healthcare system in Cincinnati in Kentucky, where 315,000 people with cancer are cared for. And they're partnering with the University of Mississippi, their Center for Natural Product Research, the FDA, Center for Natural Product Research, and then just clinical trials and Prime Meridian. So those are kind of the relationships that he is maintaining and collaborating with. And he's just said, it's a really difficult job to take 2 worlds that are widely separated. They don't like each other very much. And it takes a unique, what he calls allopathic physician, which I just think means a GP that's able to hold those 2 worlds carefully, to provide a high integrated standard whilst caring for you and listening to you and not condescending you. So he is trying to find that unique body of people and bring them together to work together. So yes, and then he just talked a little bit more about how they're planning on doing that practically with Prime Meridian. So they're going to do like pre-clinic routines like forms you fill in about your lifestyle, so how much you sleep, what your diet looks like, your exercise history, and then that's gathered and compiled before you go in to see a GP within Prime Meridian. And Prime Meridian is really going to be looking at decreasing dependence on prescription drugs, preventing illness rather than dealing with it, and bringing doTERRA to a larger audience. And then he also looked at the science of dosing and that kind of thing. The fourth person was Dr. Douglas Flora. He's an integrative, he was looking at integrative approaches to oncology care. He basically was just talking about how there's going to be a centre for patients around the world, and they're going to be really looking at support like Aroma Touch, medical massage, demonstration kitchens for food, support during and after chemo. So it's going to be a lot more about the lifestyle and the support around cancer. So that was kind of cool. Then they had a preventative care panel, which was kind of like, it was amazing, but it was also really impactful, because they basically did that thing where they get everyone to stand up, and then they say, right, the bottom third of this entire room, sit down. And he's like, this represents the amount of people by 2020 who will have a diagnosis of diabetes. And then he was like, the first 22 rows over there, you go sit down. That is the amount of people that are going to die by 2024 of cardiovascular diseases. And he just went through all the lifestyle-based diseases and showed us physically the representation of people in the room that wouldn't be alive by 2024. And he just said, look at the people we'll be missing. And this is all largely preventable. So that just made such an impact. And then they brought out the panel with people like Dr. Robin Fawcett on there and stuff like that. And they talked about lifestyle-based ideas that you can use to support yourself to move away from that being your long-term trajectory. Okay, then Greg Cook, he did something called A Deeper Understanding, which was basically very simply looking at, so they brought out James Keego again. He was the guy with the pink pepper. He was last year on walking with a stick because he got polio when he was 3. A couple of surgeons were watching that last year, and they were like, oh, we can fix that. So they were part of this group called the Hanger Group in the UK, and they sent him over to the UK from America. They did surgery on him for free. They relieved all the pressure in his leg. He's now able to walk unaided, and because he's not got a stick in his hand, he can shake people's hands. And so doTERRA just so blown away by that generosity that they have donated $10,000 to the Hanger Group for the support that they gave to Keego. So that was really cool. And Greg just finished by saying, look, direct sales dominated by companies focused on income and swanky lifestyles and fame, fortune. He was like, we reject that, and we accept direct sales as a mode to put customers and people first. Sharing, not selling, enrolling, not recruiting. We value our products. We use our intuition, our personal experience. We use our logic and we make decisions. We trust nature and we don't accept big pharma as the only and best solution. The government's not putting people they serve first. doTERRA's creation of self-reliance takes power away from the status quo, and it gives it back to the individuals. So that's it. Then we had a bit from Andrew O'Hare on quality. So that was all the Source to You stuff. And basically that in a nutshell is that the Source to You website has had a facelift. So you can kind of go and have a look at that. And he talked about adulteration and contamination, and that most companies aren't necessarily trying to deceive their consumers on purpose, but might be misled by their sources, but they are not compromising or taking shortcuts. Then they had this guy called Dr. Khan from the University of Mississippi, and he was basically there to support doTERRA with the clinical testing. Then there was a quality panel to talk about what makes purity so important, and they had Tim Valentina there, who's working with all the sourcing guys on the ground, and he just talks about the tremendous amount of effort and time it takes to source correctly and to be on the ground all the time and not cut corners. And he did talk about the types of adulteration that exist, like mislabeling oil. So cassia can sometimes be called cinnamon, lavandin as lavender, grapefruit as orange. That's what you might find in the kind of essential oil world. Adding carrier oils in, using synthetics, adding a similar oil but not the oil. So there was all sorts of different things like that he talked about, but they were very intentional about ensuring that gap is really closed so that we keep it as pure as possible. Then the last two things were Dr. Roerich talked about animal care. She debunked some myths about using oils on pets, such as citrus oils are seen as toxic to pets. But she says citrus oils can actually help with stress and uplifting mood of the pets. That could be really key for anybody around fireworks night. And she said just apply them topically, but a dilution of 1 to 5%. And also, if you want to diffuse them, just don't put it right next to them, particularly animals in cages, like birds, that kind of thing. And then she said some cats are able to ingest certain oils, like copaiba, frankincense, and apply AromaTouch topically. And there's also another myth that essential oils can cause liver or kidney damage. And that's a myth. Oils can help cats with their kidneys and as a side benefit to helping with joints. And finally, Dr. Maritza Snyder talked about women's hormonal health. And she said 95% of women are actually dealing with hormone imbalance. She talked about what hormones are. And then she said, listen, the first step forward with this is really a strong foundation. So she went into lifestyle. She talked about using the oils for support with that. She shared her Superwoman blend, which is all about supporting the hormones to be more balanced, which is 12 drops of clary sage, 10 of lavender, 5 of geranium, 5 of cedarwood, and 4 of ylang ylang in a 10 ml roller, and then top it up with water with coconut oil. And she said take deep belly breaths with that to release stress. Hold it for 5 seconds, and let that work in the limbic brain and go from fight and flight to rest and digest and be in control of your stress response.
Do you mind just repeating that blend?
Yeah, it's a Superwoman blend. Superwoman blend. It's in her book. But it's a 10 ml roller of 12 of clary sage, 10 of lavender, 5 geranium, 5 cedarwood, and 4 ylang ylang.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, and then she just said the top things: banish fatigue is through self-care, supplementation, sleep, oils, and lifestyle. Banish cravings through eating properly, know your craving triggers, oils, supplements. And then her last thing was commitment to health is your greatest gift. And then you can show up bigger for your mission and the people that you love. Summary done.
Amazing, and breathe. You did amazing. That was brilliant, Natalie. That was perfect. Thank you so much. Really good. Thursday done in 15 minutes. You've time. That was brilliant. Okay, over to Melanie for Friday.
Hi everyone. Well, unlike Natalie, I didn't do as comprehensive a job. I kind of honed in on a couple of the talks, but I really enjoyed listening to that, Natalie. It's brilliant. I loved it. But if any of you, as Rebecca said, have access to convention, it was phenomenal. It was so phenomenal. So I just say watch it if you can. All right, so Thursday. Now, tying in with the Daily Habits Kit that Nathan talked about at the very beginning, that was kind of what was standing out in my mind in convention. So the talks that really made an impact on me are the ones which integrate where specifics were given for daily habits or to address specific issues. And on Thursday, there was an essential oil panel, which was titled Unleashing the Power of Essential Oils. And on this panel,
Thursday or Friday, Mel, isn't it? Friday you're doing?
Yes, sorry. It's all about Friday. If I say Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or any other day, it's all about Friday. Sorry. Okay, so the people that were on this panel were Boyd Truman, who most of us have heard of. He's the originator of Symphony of the Cells. He's a presidential diamond. Laura Jacobs, who's a double blue diamond, she used to have a wellness centre 20 odd years ago, or even longer, I think. She had it for about 16 years. And she's really an expert on essential oils, especially in relation to emotions. That's my understanding. And then there was a doctor, a medical doctor, Jodie Anderson. She's also a doTERRA Silver, but her profession is medical doctor. Anne Shipley, who's a nurse practitioner, and she's instrumental in the Prime Meridian organisation and launching of all of that. And then a lady called Sarah, can't pronounce her last name, Banstein, whatever. She's a nurse, and she's also a presidential diamond. So that's their background. And they were all asked what their favourite oils were. And so that stood out for me, and the why. And so I'll just go through those if that's good. Turmeric and ginger to be used internally. In fact, Bex, do you want me to go through these, or shall I just post them on the website? What would be better? What would be better for now? Do you care?
Yeah, just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, post them as well. Yeah.
Okay. So turmeric and ginger is great for digestive health. Boyd said it might make you go to the bathroom a lot initially. It decreases inflammation, and if used topically, it's a neuroprotector. Immortelle was another oil that's one of their favourites. It's great for cuts and scrapes, and when it's combined with copaiba and fractionated coconut oil, it's really good for postpartum healing. So, when you just had a baby, it's great for that. Roman chamomile is very calming. Yeah, that's good for you to know. It's very calming, used internally as well as topically. It's great for skin irritation and also tooth pain. So they're just picking out some things that maybe we don't always know that these are good for. Helichrysum was Boyd's favourite oil by far. He says it's great neuroprotector and a great tonic. It's great for the liver, enhances cleansing, and you can use it topically or internally. And he gave an example of when he broke his toe. He was on a cruise, he broke his toe playing basketball or something at the beginning of the cruise, and his his friends were saying, well, that's you out of commission for the rest of the week. And he had his little secret weapon of deep blue and helichrysum. He went back to his cabin, mixed the two together, and then applied it every couple of hours, and he was fine after about day 2 after the broken toe. Just completely fine. There was not an issue at all there, which I thought was quite phenomenal. But bearing in mind that Boyd's internal system is very, he takes loads of oils every day, and so his body was really prone to being able to absorb those oils. But still, that was amazing. Melissa is great for depression and emotional challenges, and if you use it every day, it also helps with mental focus. Geranium was Laura Jacobs' favourite. She finds that it optimizes the flow and restoration of her emotions. She says it's a very diverse oil, and it's also very good for the pancreas, skin, liver, and bile ducts as a cleansing and allowing that flow. So it's an emotional flowing oil, and it's a physically flowing oil. She says that she mixes it with grapefruit, and it's great for her gallbladder. And she uses it over her adrenal glands to help with fatigue. Cilantro was mentioned as a cleansing and calming, both physically and emotionally, as an oil. Yarrow pom, really good for the skin, supports the regeneration of the skin. And interestingly, Boyd said it's also very good for breast tissue. So if anyone has a history of breast cancer or issues, definitely use that one, but it's good for all women. Rose, it's really good to decrease cortisol, which, as we know, is our stress hormone, and cortisol breaks down collagen. So if you can decrease the release of cortisol, then your collagen in your body can be optimized. And then celery seed was highlighted as being loaded with antioxidants. So also on this panel, Boyd talked about another way that we can do a class. And he said that he's created a protocol, a sort of a mini Symphony of the Cells protocol using the family or the Home Essentials Kits oils. And this protocol helps with the immune and digestive system, so it helps to support both of those. And he mentioned you could do a class, you could change the format of your class by doing this and talking about all of the oils as you're doing this sort of mini Symphony of the Cells protocol. And he said this is the order to apply the oils for this mini Symphony of the Cells. 2 to 3 drops of each of these oils, frankincense being the first one, and then apply fractionated coconut oil all over the back. Then apply oregano, Zengest, lemon, melaleuca, On Guard, and peppermint. And you can finish with a hot compress with the peppermint if you want, but you don't have to. But I thought that was brilliant. I really like that. Okay, so this was a statement that came from this panel. Essential oils are not nutrients. Without sufficient nutrients, a person's body will not be able to assimilate the components of the essential oils. So then this panel went on to talk about their daily routines, which I thought was really fascinating and very interesting and very practical. So Boyd, every morning he takes his Lifelong Vitality Pack, lavender and breathe mixed together as an aftershave, Immortelle on his face and head, and On Guard on his feet, and 2 drops in his mouth. And then throughout the day, 2 to 3 drops of lemon and tangerine internally, the rose lotion, and 3 drops of any 3 oils in a capsule every day, depending on the need for that day. So he interchanges those. And then at night, he does 3 Terrazyme, 2 Zendocrine, and 1 DDR Prime, and then Immortelle on his face and on his head. And in winter, he takes the On Guard soft gels, GX Assist, 3 times a week. So both of those 3 times a week. And then he does his Symphony of the Cells 2 to 3 times a month to boost his immune system. The nurse practitioner, in the morning, she does the LLV, the Terrazyme DDR Prime. Then she takes lavender, arborvitae, and rose, grapefruit and lemon in water, peppermint under the tongue. And then she picks an emotional oil of choice for that day. And then at night, she does the Serenity soft gels. And in the fall and winter, or autumn and winter, she does On Guard and gargles with clove, with GX Assist for her gut immune support. So there's a real common theme going along here, which is, and Laura's the same, LLV in the morning, Terrazyme, PB Assist and Mito 2 Max she adds. And then she does the Verage Skin Essential Care range. She uses that on her skin. Throughout the day, Copaiba, and then she uses various oils to support her project's emotional oils, whichever one she needs to support whatever she's doing that day. And then at night, blue tansy, turmeric, and geranium on her face. And then the RN, she does the LLV, and then Immortelle and rose. Throughout the day, she does green mandarin in water or lime, and cedarwood and aroma touch all day long. And then at night, jasmine and cedarwood on her feet before bed. And with her kids, she does PB Assist Junior and gives them the roller, which is stronger. That rollerball, stronger. Throughout the day, she uses the On Guard products anywhere in her house. And then at night, she gives her kids Karma, the rollerball Karma, and Roman chamomile. And then the nurse practitioner, in the morning, she does the LLV, the DDR Prime, and rose. And then throughout the day, lemon in her water and jasmine and Siberian fir on her wrists. And then nighttime, Serenity soft gels and Terrazyme and Yarrow Pom. So the thing I got from that is that they're very, they incorporate these products massively into their lives, way more than I did. I was looking at my protocol and it was really down on that, and I was thinking I was being generous. So they really are advocates of that. So, and then the other person who I wanted to highlight was Dr. Goff. Let me write back up here. Okay, now Dr. Goff, he's English, but he works over here, and he's a physician. He's also a Blue Diamond, and he gave some excellent four excellent examples of patients that he's had where he has used the doTERRA products, different doTERRA products, to deal with whatever these patients were experiencing. So Gloria is a hairdresser. I think she was in her 50s, something like that. She'd been hairdresser for forever. She loved it, but she was in severe pain. She was experiencing severe pain, prolonged chronic pain in her hands, and it had massively impacted her ability to work as a hairdresser. And so Dr. Goff prescribed this protocol for her. First of all, he told her to change her diet to eliminate or cut back on pro-inflammatory foods. So that was the first thing. And then she massaged Copaiba and Deep Blue, 2 to 3 drops into her hands in the morning and the evening. And she would also take 3 drops of Copaiba internally in the morning. And she noticed huge differences in her ability to carry out her normal role as a hairdresser. She started to build back up her clients gradually, but she then went back to fully functioning. So that was incredible. No prescription drugs at all. Tim is a farmer. He was experiencing severe respiratory issues from pollen and other environmental adjutants. His protocol was 10 drops of Copaiba, 10 drops of Breathe and green mandarin, so 10 of each of those in a 10 ml roller ball topped up with fractionated coconut oil and applied over his chest and onto his hands, which he inhaled as needed. And then he would do a nasal rinse with 1 drop of Copaiba nightly as needed. And that completely dealt with all of those issues. That was exciting to me because I had a client for whom or somebody interested in doTERRA for whom the Tri-Ease wasn't working. So I'm now going to give him that. This other lady had neurological disorders. She would start, in fact, she wasn't a lady, she was a teenager. She would start shaking without warning, just start, and it just wouldn't stop. She would have these huge shaking fits. Her protocol was a 10 ml roller ball of 10 drops of Copaiba, 10 of lavender, 10 of Balance, 4 of vetiver, and then rolled that over her heart and the back of her head and her hands, which she inhaled from, as needed. So she would just roll them, just roll it. And she's not experienced any shaking since she's been doing that. Ian had a really bad back and because of that had been taking opiates for years. Dr. Goff said before he gave the protocol that narcotics do nothing to promote healing. They only cover up a symptom, and pain is a symptom, not a cause. So Ian's protocol was lifelong vitality, yoga 2 times a week, use Copaiba soft gels in the morning and the night, and then Ian takes Copaiba throughout the day as needed. So that's that's a summary of the real sort of practical things that came out for me of Friday, but there was so much more to it. Dr. Hill talked about the difference between CBD and Copaiba, and then another guy talked in a bit more detail about CBD and Copaiba, and how the endocannabinoid system works with each of those and which one's better. So definitely, if you can have access to the online, the rerun of Convention, then definitely watch it, because that's really interesting. And that's it. That's my overview.
Amazing. That was lovely to finish with products. I love that. It's incredible to hear what professionals and people who are using it, been using it for a while, are using. That's brilliant. I took lots of notes. Yeah, you can definitely post those things on the group mail as well. That would be amazing. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to keep you any longer. The hardcore 41 of you, I think one just went. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was brilliant, and it's really given you a summary of the whole of the US convention, which obviously there's tons and tons of information. So if we've inspired you to go and watch the online version, you'll get a lot more out of it. But that was brilliant. So thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you, Melanie. Really, really appreciate your input. And we are part of an incredible company. I think that is the end of the big summary, because it's so exciting. These oils work, they're saving, you know, so many people all the time with their ailments and helping them live much nicer lives. And so the more we share, the more people we help, and we get to join the mission of doTERRA, which is incredible. So thank you. Hope to see lots of you at the Northampton event, because our next team call will be after that. So definitely come. It's going to be incredible. Melanie's flying all the way from America just to come to that. And my birth. I think that's got a little bit of a pull as well. Don't know which order of priority.